just got the biggest Legends Festival update after Legends Festival ended. I don't know why we are getting so much stuff here. There's a lot to cover. I'm probably not gonna be able to cover all of it in just a short time, but I'm going to do my best. Let's go. I'm not gonna waste any time. So first, we have the Blue Bros Zenkai. After taking a look at this, they seem all right. Honestly, them as a unit, they didn't really change. They kind of do the same things that they did before. The good news is they do get a little bit of buffs when they tag switch. It's up to 4 times they'll get permanent, or not permanent buffs, but recurring buffs the more you switch. And looking at their kit, they seem more like a bench unit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little sad because they seem very undertuned. It's literally just a modern version of their kit. They didn't really get anything new. There's a lot of these effects are just stuff you would expect. Also, they reduce damage by 60%, which is not great. I mean, they do have buff cancellation, or no, they don't. I lied. I don't think they have buff cancellation, but they do not have a lot of damage sustain cut. I mean, granted, the whole point of this unit is they have really good sustain. When they released 2, that was their big gimmick, was they just have a crap ton of ways to keep themselves alive. But that 60% is not looking too good. And unless I'm missing something here, I don't think that they get it anywhere else. I mean, yeah, they do have buffs. I mean, they get 10% here when they cover change, but they should just have 70% by default. I don't know why they're holding back. But they have some stuff in their kits to keep them alive. Between Goku and Vegeta, they don't change that much. There are a few minor differences, but there's nothing too crazy. They're relatively the same units with just a few like differences, like very small differences between them. Not anything crazy. I'm a little bit underwhelmed, and I wish that they were given more justice, but they're not horrible. They're at least going to be somewhat good. I think they'll be solid. That's the best I can give them. But they're also, their Z ability is for Tag Sunflame and Vegeta Clan. I mean, we're seeing a lot of that with tag units, but overall, nothing crazy. Now, the big person that I want to talk about here, if I can find it, is Gogeta Blue. I have a bone to pick with this character, and looking at his Zenkai so far, I will just say this right now. I think that why am I forgetting the word? They fumbled. They fumbled, I would say, decently hard. And I will explain why, but first I kind of want to take a look at his kit. Looking at his kit, he seems like a big ultimate merchant. It seems like his big gimmick is that his ult is just gonna do a shit ton of damage. But there is a small issue with that, and that's all of his buffs are or not all of them, but a lot of his buffs that he gets that would make him strong are cancelable. For example, when you pop your main ability, you will get the Meteor Explosion. You'll heal, get key, standard stuff. You get minus 100% to the enemy's sustained damage cut effects. That is insane. That is a really good buff, and I'm pretty sure I think he had the same thing before his Zenkai, didn't he? Or something like, I mean, he had something like that already. That's insane. Now, the problem with that is that it's cancelable. It's not much of a gimmick if you can just cancel it, and every unit that releases nowadays gets buff cancellations. Like when anyone pops a blue, ult, rush, anything, you will cancel their buffs. And so that's not, it might seem really good, but you're never gonna, I don't think there's many situations where you're actually gonna be able to have this, because we're in a meta where popping an ult means you lose all your buffs. And so, I mean, maybe in the future he might have a chance to shine, but not in this one. Also, my second bone to pick is his reduced damage received. So not only is it not 60%, it's 50%. Yeah. Goku and Vegeta got 60%. Why is Gogeta getting 50%? Okay, sure. You know, maybe he gets it in his green card, right? Which he does. He does get more sustained damage cut when he pops. Nope, it reduces. Wait, sustained. No, yeah, yes. I said that right. Sorry. He does get 20% when he pops his green card. My issue with that is that it doesn't last forever. I believe it's like, what is it? Where is it? I gotta look here. Yeah. Reduces damage received by 20% for 5 timer counts. By the way, if you pop it, you're locking the opponent in for 5 counts. So they can't even switch, and you're probably going to be comboing them. Reduces impact damage received by 10% for 5 timer counts. What? I don't understand the logic behind that, because this dude's not going to be able to live. Now, he does have some healing in his kit now, but that's just not good enough. I mean, sure, you could maybe use it like when you're about to get hit by a big attack and maybe take a little bit less damage, but that is not good enough. That is really weak. I mean, looking at his damage though, he seems like he's going to be a pretty good damage dealer. Outside of the fact that, you know, he can't really ult and do a lot of damage because he's going to get his buff canceled. That is my biggest bone to pick with this unit. I think that they should have taken maybe more time to think about this unit, because it really does feel like he's just going to be a bench unit. I mean, granted, he does get 2 ultimates if he's the last man standing. He does get 2 ultimates right here. Also applies the falling effects itself. If there are 2 defeated battle members, he draws his ultimate and then he nullifies destroy card effects. I just feel like this guy's way undertuned. I mean, let me rephrase. He is fine, and kit-wise, he looks amazing. But the fact is, in this meta and probably for the future, his buffs are all cancelable. Nothing he really gets is retained. Now, he does still have his stacking effect where he... it used to be what, 6 cards before he would get his maximum damage inflicted. Now it's 3, and he's getting a 60% bonus damage. His ultimate damage is getting buffed by 40%, and these are not cancelable, so that is good. He has some uncancelable buffs, but all of his old buffs are cancelable. It's a little silly to me that they would make him look so strong on paper, but in reality, he's never going to be able to use any of these because he's never going to have them. And when you do, odds are you won the game anyway, because there's 1 man standing and they probably used up all of their buff cancellations if they have a limited amount. Like Sword of Hope Trunks, his plat gives him an infinite amount. Not all units have that. Sword of Hope Trunks is an exception, but what I'm saying is he's never really going to see I don't think you're ever going to see a time where he's going to actually get to use the full effects of his kit. So I'm a little bit disappointed with this character. No, I'm just disappointed. Not even a little. I'm just disappointed. Now, he does have a 50... we're seeing a lot of units now where when they go below 50% HP, they will heal up and usually have some sort of disrupt. He does have that, and he also enhances his ultimate arts and his special move arts. Now, the problem with that is, once again, they are cancelable. These buffs they're all cancelable. Nothing he gets is retained. Like, look, his blue card right here at the very top, the Stardust Shooter, restores finishing range by 50%. That is new, and that's good. I think I like that. 30% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. That's solid because he gets that on activation. Now, not everyone cancels that. Blue cards have a little bit more wiggle room, so he may not keep the damage inflicted, but he gets his Vanish back. I like that a lot. He inflicts the enemy with minus 50% to health restoration for 20 timer counts on hit. This is a very strong effect, or it used to be. Now there's a lot of ways to cancel debuffs. And then if it's enhanced, which is what we saw before when he goes below 50%, he gets plus 30% to his special move damage inflicted for 3 timer counts. It's cancelable. Like, come on. Seriously? Okay, sure. Let's look at his ult. Same thing here. He gets ultimate damage buff, nullifies endurance effects when their health reaches 0. He nullifies endurance. When it's enhanced, he nullifies own unfavorable element factors for 3 timer counts. It's cancelable. Like, come on. I don't know. This seems a little silly. He just feels very, very undertuned. Like, all the buffs here, almost everything here listed is cancelable. There's literally nothing on the screen that says uncancelable or cannot be canceled. There's nothing there. All of these buffs are cancelable. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and I have not seen him in game, so obviously there is a grain of salt to be taken with everything that I'm saying, because I have not seen him in game. For all I know, he could be cracked beyond belief. But on paper, I feel like he was very, very undertuned, and frankly, I think they heavily, heavily fumbled one of the most anticipated Zenkais of all time. No, the most anticipated Zenkai of all time. He seems very lackluster. I mean, maybe if someone gets released in the future that prevents your allies from losing buffs for 5 counts, I definitely think that Gogeta would be absolutely phenomenal. Even if you kept these buffs for just 5 counts, it gives you time to pop the main, pop the ult, boom, killing everybody in the entire game. It wouldn't even be close. But that's not a thing. So all I'm left to assume is that he's, well, I don't want to say ass, but so far he's looking to be mid at best. But anyway, enough cope about Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. I mean, I love the guy, and I still think he's gonna be mid at best or solid even, but I'm a little bit disappointed. Now here's where things get spicy. God Goku got a platinum equipment. I don't know why this was not announced. There was no indication other than the data mine that we just got. He is getting a plat. Now, I'm assuming this probably means it's going to come out next week. If this is coming out tonight, that would be crazy. I don't know. At the time of when I gathered all this information, it did not say whether it was coming out tonight or not. I'm going to assume this is probably coming out in a week, because there are 2 big Zenkais dropping tonight. Literally when this video was uploaded, probably in 2 hours after, or maybe an hour even. But I don't think this is going to release at the same time. I don't know if it would really make sense to, but who knows? Anyways, looking at it, it looks pretty freaking good. I think this honestly might give God Goku the means to be meta relevant, because one thing that he really lacked was damage. It literally was just his damage and the fact that he didn't cancel buffs. Well, they fixed both of those, because here in slot 1, basic defenses, every unit gets it. Slot 2, he's getting up to, well, assuming you probably max this out, you'll probably get around to I imagine like the 90% range. He is probably gonna have 45 to 50% damage inflicted. That's good. I think that's gonna help him a lot, actually. And then obviously he gets base strike and blast attack. And then this one right here, he gets some health when he switched to standby. I think that's actually really good. I think that will help him a lot. I think this white looks awesome for him. And his slot 3, now this is the one thing that every person, including myself, complained about when he released. He didn't cancel buff effects. Now he does. When someone pops a blue card, ultimate or awakened arts, he will heal 20% of his HP, which only activates twice, and then he will cancel your buffs, which can activate up to 3 times. Very, very solid. I think this is really good. Also, now when he enters the battlefield, his gauge automatically starts filled. Awesome. This plat's amazing. I'm gonna be honest, I think this is really good. God Goku, he probably got the best treatment out of all 3 of the units getting buffed in this update. This is solid. I mean, I love God Goku. I said it since he released. I thought he was awesome. Animations were a little lackluster in some cases. I feel like he feels like a rush unit, but not a bad one. He still looks solid. I liked his animations, but now with this buff, I think he's going to be meta relevant again. Maybe not on top teams. I still feel like God Goku is lacking. Like, I think the one flaw he has now is just that the effects of his gauge don't last long enough for how long it takes to fill up. So who knows, but he is looking solid. But granted, I guess God Goku's whole gimmick is earlier you are in the match, the more I don't know how to phrase this. The less you use him, the better he is. Because I believe when he switches in the first 2 times, his gauge fills up really fast, or maybe it's 3. And then after that, it takes a little bit longer. So, you know, he's more of a, you kind of use him early on and then get rid of him after. Also, he does have endurance. So it's just, I don't know. He's awesome. He's looking great. And then the last thing here is another equipment for Sagas from the movies or God Key. And this equipment, honestly, it looks ass. I don't I don't know why this is a plat. I feel like this should just be a gold equipment. But then again, this is, I mean, we've seen this with Daima, the Daima equips that came out. We've seen this with basically every other tag that ever gets buffed. Everyone gets some variant of this type of equipment. And this one, again, very basic. I mean, maybe if a character doesn't, well, I'm gonna be honest, most characters that are on either movies or God Key already have access to some solid equipments. But the only person I can really see this maybe benefiting is like a Whis. But even then, it's like, what Whis are you running with someone that's from the movies? I don't know. But anyway, that's it for this update. I just felt like covering this because holy crap, I was overwhelmed with 1, Goku getting equipment, and 2, Gogeta being ass. But that is on paper. I haven't seen him in game. Don't flame me. We have yet to see whether or not what I'm saying actually holds to be true. I gotta try him out first. But in general, he looks a little bit disappointing. But anyway, that's all. Goodbye.